Yo, hello everybody and welcome to the Pokemon TCG Overview. We got the Pokeball Pokemon today, there's nobody quite like them, not even 5th generation mushrooms, Voltorb and Electrode. Now these guys actually have a shit ton of prints and promos, so bear with me here, but it'll be worth it. A lot of people, both new and old fans, like to hate on Pokemon like these, saying they're unoriginal, uncreative, rushed, or whatever negative adjective, and I'm here to say that I disagree. If there's a reasonable explanation, or you can think of a reasonable explanation for them to make sense, then it's good for Pokemon, since the mystery aspect is always around. Gen 1 is all about science, where there are many Pokemon that were born from inanimate masses or objects, or Pokemon that evolve with multiple heads or hands, possibly due to some energy that's been exposed to the environment. That's what I like to think, and you'll find lots of theories about stuff like this from other YouTubers. Not my favorite electric types, but with the faces they make repeatedly, they're cool OG Pokemon. Okay, if you're at least a tiny bit familiar with these Pokemon, you know that they're all about blowing up and taking you with them, but it actually took Voltorb to go all the way to Gen 4 Secret Wonders to have a self-destruct explosion type of attack, where you do lots of damage but usually kill yourself too. Surprisingly enough, I wasn't expecting that. In fact, this one along with Roaring Skies Voltorb are the only ones with a self-blow-up attack. He also gets an exclusive extended sheet Japanese promo, but he also gets 2 owner's prints by Lieutenant Surge, not really surprising, and a Holon's card in EX Delta species, which were Pokemon that you can play as special energy too. I'd say its biggest honor would be getting a shiny version secret rare in Stormfront. Only few Pokemon can say they have that in the TCG. EX Fired Leaf Green Voltorb has a Pokebody that gives it free retreat if it has energy. Nothing game breaking, but better than nothing. The effect can come up, but XY Voltorb has an ability that on a coin flip can make a big difference in a game. When Voltorb gets KO'd by an attack, if you flip heads, boom, 5 damage counters on the attacking Pokemon. Not bad, but it gets even crazier with Electrode. You'll be seeing a common theme. Electrode blowing up to bring your other guy's energy. High risk, high reward, it's what this guy has always been about. Base Set immediately gave Electrode this role, since with Buzz Zap you could KO him to provide 2 energy to any Pokemon of any type, clearly something with potential, but Base Set format, you know. Jungle Electrode's 90 HP was kind of nice for stage 1s back then, but Chain Lightning needed to do more base damage without the effect to even be considered good. Even if your opponent had 3 Pokemon of the same type on the bench, you were doing 50 damage total for 3, and Dugong did that consistently better and had Blastoise support too. Laboratory Electrode was a Japanese exclusive, wasn't good at all besides the 2 for 30 attack, which was decent at best since it couldn't hit for weakness. It only appeared in the original Game Boy Color game as an English card. In Team Rocket, of course Electrode would get a Dark card, which was shit with 60 HP, even though Energy Bomb's effect is interesting and could maybe mitigate the low HP, but with the nature of the format, it wasn't getting any help. Art is kind of legit. Lieutenant Surge Electrode is the first and only Electrode card that has a 2 retreat cost on a Pokemon that should have always had 0. 70 HP is still incredibly low, especially as time goes on, and Powerball is an ass attack. And for the final nail in the coffin, Shock Blast, even though it would have been mediocre and unreliable, requiring a coin flip, it could have at least have been something. But no, even if you're lucky, you're hitting yourself as well. Most terrible Electrode card, it really sucks for Surge fans. Let's finally get to some good stuff now. The Aquapolis print is also not reliable, requiring a coin flip, but if you flip heads it's basically a free energy from the discard pile, and you can try this every turn if he's active. Again, you have to be active and flip heads, but it's lightning energy acceleration to any Pokemon. Swift isn't the greatest attack, but compared to the other shitty ones it's like it's amazing. Not a great card, but a step in the right direction. After all these prints, it took Skyridge for Electrode to finally get his signature attack, blow up and do shitloads of damage. Self-destruct did 100 damage and 20 to every other Pokemon besides Electrode, who ate 100 self-damage. Not a good attack normally, but I'm sure in some situations an extreme attack like this can be useful. Plasma, while not doing much damage, has the potential to fuel Electrode's self-destruct, so you can have some fun with that. And speaking of fun, if you scan this card in the e-reader, it gets a Pokepower too, and it's a useful one, letting you move energy from him to your other bench Pokemon. It's a shame he doesn't have this on the actual card, he would have been much better this way. The EX and DP era featured a lot of Electrode cards, 6 each, and you'll see why this is good soon. EX Hidden Legends, one of my favorite sets, starts things off with a real bang for Electrode, with a good card. 70 HP is very low and no free retreat is lame, but both attacks are great. Swift, doing a 1 for 30 is almost unheard of for back then, and while it won't hit for weakness, you ignore any other nuisance too, making this a great fast attack. Mass Destruction knocks both Pokemon out, but sacrificing Electrode to instantly kill something like Nidoqueen or other stage 2 Pokemon. The biggest trade-off obviously would be to kill a big, or any EX for that matter, giving your opponent a prize while you just got 2 so easily. The attack cost is honestly very reasonable too, costing 3 colorless energy, but note the attack won't do anything if he has special energy on him. Great Electrode for sure and sweet holographic art. Now for one of the more iconic prints, EX Fired and Leaf Green gave us Electrode EX. His bottom stats are pretty normal. Again, Free Retreat would be cool, but doesn't matter much. 9 HP is low for an EX, but that doesn't matter much either, since he exists mostly to blow up and fetch lots of energy. His Power Extra Energy Bombs lets you kill him and grab any 5 energy cards from your discard pile and attach them to non-EX Pokemon any way you like. The obstacles and risks are pretty transparent. You need to make sure you have the energy you want in the discard pile, and instantly giving your opponent 2 prizes is a big deal. At the same time though, the EX era had the most diverse and crazy special energies we had in any format, and you could grab 5 of them no problem. If Electrode EX was the focus of your strategy, there were also cards to take advantage of the fact you were behind prizes, so it's possible to build a deck around his power. In fact, with Executor from the same set, there was a deck around these 2 cards mentioned by Puka from the Top Cut in his favorite decks video. Naturally, there's a lot of attackers you can power this way, but no matter what, this is truly a high risk, high reward tactic. His attack, Crush and Burn, is one of those attacks that have an unlimited ceiling as long as you have energies to discard, so it isn't exactly useless, but I'm sure it's clear if you use this card, it's probably going to be for its poke power. EX Series Dark Electrode essentially does what the original one wanted to do, but better. There's some very good synergy with Darkness Navigation in the attack, as you grab a Dark or Dark Metal energy, manually attach a Lightning one, attack, and then move the energies on your bench Pokemon in any way you like. Rinse and repeat until Electrode gets KO'd. He's also better because he's dual type, Lightning and Dark, meaning more coverage to hit for weakness. The HP is still low, but this is a great Electrode card no matter how I look at it, making a great combo with Dark Dragonite from the same set. Emerald Electrode is a regular generic card, but Holon's Electrode from EX Delta species is special energy to be exact. Like his Holon pre-evolution, this Electrode can act as a double rainbow energy without a decrease in damage, but the downside is you have to return an energy attached to the Pokemon to play this, so it's not really double. He also finally gets Free Retreat, which he'll keep around until we get to Rising Rivals. EX Legend Maker, he gets his last print for this era, and besides the Free Retreat, it's also unspecial like the one in EX Emerald. DP was also very good for Electrode, starting with his representation in Secret Wonders. While 80 HP may seem low, it's not all bad once you understand this card. Energy Shift transforms Electrode into a special energy card that provides all types when he gets knocked out and gets attached to one of your Pokemon. This power goes excellently with Iron Blast, an attack that is decent doing 2 for 40 if you wish, but you can do a whopping 100 for 2 if you choose to do 100 to Electrode. This would more than likely knock him out, but he gets to become energy, once again keeping the theme of high risk, high reward. Metal Resistance and Free Retreat are very welcome, and all these aspects together make this a very good card. Stormfront is going to go down in history as one of the most broken and complete sets ever, and even the Electrode here reflects that. The first one anyway. Radiance is a broken Pokebody, putting 1 damage counter on all of your opponent's Pokemon every time Electrode is active and gets hit. This is incredibly fantastic regardless if Electrode won't take many or even 2 hits. Low Current is a swift 1 for 30 attack that paralyzes the opponent if you get hit. This works even if they switch the Pokemon they have, giving this attack great disruption utility. Swift is pretty average, but is there if you want to use a more pressuring attack that works with DCE too. With 90 HP and the same good bottom stats as well, this is the best Electrode from this era stat-wise, another very good card. The other Electrode from this set is shittier, only because Secret Wonders and the other one in Stormfront are so much better. Electrode Diffusion is risky, and even though it's an open attack for unlimited damage, it's not a good one to use. This guy gets an SP print next, being owned by Cyrus, but it doesn't live up to the other great cards we've seen. Reckless Bomb's spread attack is not good enough for such a severe drawback, even if it did 30 damage to each of your opponent's Pokemon. Even more so when this format was one of the worst to try spread tactics and attacks, and Reflect Energy is just an average attack. Not much to say here, despite getting the benefits of SP, this card is outclassed by other SP Pokemon and Electrode cards. And last but not least is Triumphant, which gives us Electrode Prime and the usual left out brother of the Prime. But fair to say, Lightning Strike isn't a completely bad attack. Now to the main attraction, Electrode Prime is like Electrode EX, one of the more famous prints, and one of the prints that saw competitive use that went somewhere thanks to the power Energy Might. Electrode basically blows up to get energy again, but this time from the top 7 cards of the deck, and not the discard pile. This is even more high risk and high reward because depending on your luck, or how you control the cards on top of your deck, you could get more than 5 energies than Electrode EX, but you could also pull 1 or even none. If we're being realistic here though, Electrode EX was a better grabber in his formats, but Electrode Prime only gives 1 prize, not 2, so yeah. I can't forget a big drawback though, and that's the discarding of the rest non-energy cards. Ooh. This card certainly isn't for everyone, but it's also certainly a gateway for crazy strategies. Boundaries Crossed Electrode is completely generic and deserves no more than this sentence, so now we go to Plasma Freeze. It's a slightly weaker Octillery that came before it, but Draw Until You Have 4 is still Draw, so he's neat. That one extra card though makes a big difference because Octillery sees some play when this card didn't do anything. Not bad by all means, it can still help against N. XY then goes back to giving Electrode crap because he only has a Crushing Hammer / Energy Removal 2 for an attack, and a 2 for 40. Roaring Skies gives us Gimmick Victini Electrode, but there are better gimmick attackers for that, but at least Energy Bomb is decent. If only it did 90 damage at least. Electrode's remake from base set is also a great Electrode energy provider that actually does what Electrode Prime is supposed to do, safer. Buzz Zap Thunder knocks you out, but transforms Electrode to a special double lightning energy card to one of your lightning Pokemon. Even though it's limited to lightning Pokemon and is vulnerable to Enhance Hammer, it's safer to use, not ditching cards from your deck and not even coming from your energy count, with Electrode acting as energy. That's how he does his energy trick this era. And fucking finally, Electrode from our latest set, Shining Legends, just has a 1 for 60 attack that's not affected by anything including weakness. Decent, but not decent enough. God, so this Trollface is probably gonna invade your dreams after this video. Before I decided to cover him, I never expected him to have so many prints. If you were paying attention though, bar a few exceptional solid at least prints here and there, Electrode's best cards and formats are in the 3rd and 4th generation of Pokemon. It truly is a sacrifice for Energy's a pro Pokemon, and has surprisingly a lot of good prints. When they don't print him as filler, he usually has a good ability that's straightforward, or has a concept you can get creative with. He's never been the star of his own ass whoopings, but the provider for other Pokemon to kick ass. Alright, this is going to be long as fuck enough, so I hope you guys enjoyed this long ass walk down the memory lane for this troll ball. Subscribe, like for him or me. If you don't like him, do it for my balls, not himself. And share this with Pokemon fans if they want to learn shit. What up?